Ciao.
A partial print with a tinted arch is probably a thumb, and the fragment of a palm off the nail.
Hearing or operational foul-up has consequences that may include people's houses burning down.
Yeah.
That's a public relations challenge. That's a consumer trust challenge. Having a day where things are slow to launch, I don't know.
It's only not only is Samsung still making phones, they're still making Galaxy phones. They didn't even change the name. I mean, it's like, yeah, right. Oh, sorry about all those planes that couldn't take off, and sorry about your pants. But yeah, maybe you were lying. Did you ever think of that? Maybe that's the reason your pants caught on fire. Mike Rose is here with us, everybody. Mike Rose, hold on. There was something.
Yes?
Oh, what did you say earlier? Degrees of. What did you say? I can't remember because I had a joke about
customer trust or degrees of.
No, it was something catchy because I was going to say degrees of whatever that is my System of a Down cover band. But we're a polka band. Yeah, because there was something quirky about what you said. But we should move on. Hey, speaking of things that hopefully won't catch us on fire.
Yes.
We talked yesterday about the new operating system, kind of. We really sort of talked about troubles with the new operating system. Since I talked to you last, we have new iPads, we have new iPhones, we have another round of new iPhones, we have new Macs, we have another, come and think of it, we have two different kinds of new iPad. There's a new Apple Watch, there's another new Apple Watch, and then there's HomePod Mini. Lots of new stuff. And it's crazy to me, like when you think about, that's just since September. Like all of that was September to November as far as the new stuff that they have. And by the time people hear this, a lot of them will actually be sitting in front of new Macs that Apple announced last week. I'm curious, anything, well, obviously you're not getting it, or maybe you are getting a new Mac, you just don't have one yet. I'm curious, is there anything new that came out that you already have, that you have on order, that tempted you, but you just couldn't pull the trigger? Where's Mike Rose with new product?
Well, I'll tell you what, I did actually buy a new product before the most recent event, which was a pair of AirPods Pro, AirPod Pros, AirPods Pro.
I like AirPods Pro, but I usually get some pushback from that.
The wide case AirPods, the ones. And I'll tell you, they're great, and they actually threw me for quite a loop because I was watching HBO Max, specifically both American. I was watching American Utopia, David Byrne's American Utopia, and also the great documentary series "I'll Be Gone in the Dark" about Michelle McNamara's book. And I was watching them on the subway. And earlier this week, we talked about taking the subway. I was watching them on the subway, and I had spatial audio turned on. And I thought my iPad was playing the audio through the speakers. I was convinced that it was playing through the device because every time I moved my head, the sound was localized right dead center behind that screen. Super, super freaky. and hard to describe unless you have a pair of them and a device that supports the spatial audio.
Okay, now, is it actually a welcome change? Because, I mean, while it does sound kind of neat to do that, I'm thinking about the times that I've had my iPad set up, but I'm doing something in the kitchen. So I'll have in my AirPods and I'll go ahead and I'll keep walking around. Or I have something on YouTube, but I put my phone in my pocket because I want to hear the thing that's playing. I don't necessarily need to see the thing that's playing. Is it suddenly going to sound like, the audio's, I mean, you can turn spatial audio off, I guess. Is it a welcome change?
It is a welcome change. I mean, once you're more than 45 degrees off axis. Like if you put your phone in your pocket and your phone's locked, it won't even try.
Okay.
It'll just it'll keep the sound field in front of you. It's when you're watching video and you would like to have the characters on the left side of the screen, the characters on the right side of the screen properly localized, but localized where you're looking. It's just I find it delightful. It just took me a little while to get used to it because it was so weird.
Yeah, somebody else.
So that is what I bought. Go ahead.
Well, I want to say it was Barry Folk wrote to me and said the same thing, that he basically thought that there was something wrong with his iPad because it was working so well. And not unlike you, he was on a plane at the time. So
same exact experience. And it's funny because, Barry and I are both, I fancy us both technology sophisticates and gadget dudes. And so the idea that we would get headphones that support spatial audio, so decoding Dolby or other, high channel audio and representing it on the sound field spatially. The idea that we would turn that on, forget we turned it on, and then be shocked when we experienced it is hilarious because that's I adore Barry, but it's very funny that it would happen to both of us the same way. That's what I bought. However, I do have something on my wish list / probably shopping list.
Okay.
Which is the M1 Mini.
Mini? Really?
Yeah, because as mentioned at the beginning of the week, I don't currently have a test bed machine that will run Big Sur.
Right.
I have monitors, I have keyboards, I have plenty of stuff to plug into it, and I can spend a modest amount of money and get something that is presumably going to last me for a while. I have an iMac sitting there. It's not doing much as an iMac. Mm-hmm. It's a great Plex server. It's a great backup server, but I don't need it to be doing that. I would love it if I could run Big Sur on it and start to and Catalyst and all the iOS apps and do all that stuff. But I don't need another laptop. I don't want another laptop. Mm-hmm. And I really this is the first time in a very, very long time, back to the PowerPC Intel transition, or possibly even the 68K to the PowerPC transition, where I feel like I need to spend some of my money to catch up and be part of the experience that other people are having. Otherwise, I'm going to be less than useful to my my family support or my people who depend on me as being the Mac guy. I'm not going to be able to help. So is it worth that amount of money to me to be able to do that?
Yeah, I am very excited about my next laptop being an Apple Silicon laptop. I'm not planning on making it that anytime soon. That said, when I bought this computer, I figured I'd have it for 5 years as my primary machine. Now I'm thinking maybe 3 or 4. It's 2 years old now, and I could see not rushing to change it, but basically if it even starts to look at me funny, I might be like, well, we've had a good run, pal, but I'm gonna drop you off here. Nice. Yeah, and see what else. So nothing else. No watches, no phones. So what are you carrying for a phone now?
I've got a work phone, which is an iPhone 8, and I did get an 11 Pro personal phone last year. So moving from the 11 to 12 doesn't, there's not a lot to that for me. I have a relatively new iPad. I'm pretty well caught up. The watch, the pulse oximeter on the current gen watch is interesting to me.
Sure,
but I'm not. I'm gonna see how much more I can get out of this watch.
All right,
we'll see.
What watch do you have?
This is the Series 4? Series 3?
Yeah.
4? Not that old.
I think that's a big dividing line. Do you have the ECG or ECG thing?
I do not.
Okay, so you have a Series 3.
Yeah, I have a Series 3.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I've got the Series 3 as well, and between the ECG and the pulse ox, I keep wanting that, but I'm not going to let myself spend the money now. The only thing I bought is I did pick up a HomePod Mini that should be arriving Tuesday or sometime between Tuesday and Thursday, I think. And I think part of it was because I have a HomePod, but it's in one room of the house, and I like the idea of having another one, someplace else, because there's a whole section of the house that has nothing to play music, at least not play it well. Usually in the kitchen, if I'm playing music, it's on my phone while I'm cooking, and that's just, not cool. I really think, though, that what the reason was, it was as I think it was Brittany Smith on Mac Voices said, Apple's making something for $99. I can afford $99, so I'm going to get the thing that Apple is making for $99. Really, it's about wanting to know about that device and also having the more, the whole pervasive computing thing a bit more. But part of it is I'm really jealous of everybody who's spending $500 on a watch or $1,000 on a computer. I'm going to spend $99 on a speaker and see what happens.
I think, I mean, that to me, that's also a little bit of the same feeling I get around the Mini, although it's like an order of magnitude difference. But it's like, well, someone who's going out and getting a 16-inch MacBook Pro, I'm like, yeah, but I might spend $800 on a Mac Mini because I want to be able to stay current, and I can get it will be useful to me. It'll let me, offload some of the stuff I'm doing. But I'm not spending, $3,000 on an iMac Pro. It's like there's no point for me. What's interesting to me, and this came up earlier this week, is this is the first time in a while where when people say to me, "Hey, I just got a new Mac," or "I'm getting a new Mac," and it's almost always a MacBook Air. Should I go for the Apple Silicon one? Should I go for the M1 MacBook Air, or should I return the Intel one I just bought and get an M1? And this is the first time I felt comfortable telling people, "Yeah, go ahead, go for it, just do it." Which is a weird feeling for me because I don't have, I've never seen them, I've never touched them, I have no idea what the performance is going to be, but I have that degree of confidence in this architectural shift to tell people, you know what, you're probably going to be happier over time if you get the M1 laptop. And honestly, for a lot of people, the ability to run those iOS apps on Big Sur with the M1, that's huge. Like, that's going to be transformative for a lot of folks who are used to having very distinct worlds. And there's like, oh, wait a minute, I can get my crossword app on my computer now? Yeah, guess what? It's there. Oh my gosh. So that's why I'm perfectly comfortable, perfectly enthusiastic to tell people to get an M1 machine, and that makes me feel weird about not having one myself.
The number of fingerprints on screens, though, for the first 6 months. That's going to be a thing. Seriously. It's, oh, look, it's my crossword. Why isn't it working? Why isn't it working?
Stock up on the wipes.
How many broken screens? Oh, up on the wipes, yeah. Big oleophobic. They'll have their day. They will have their day.
They're going to have their day.